This video is about importing files from your Photoshop to your Cricut machine. So a Cricut machine is basically a Cricut maker. It's basically where you can cut the images in order for it to make some shapes, some letters. So what I'm going to show you guys in this tutorials is that I'm going to create a letters to be placed on the or uploaded on the Cricut machine. So the first thing I'm going to do to integrate Photoshop and Cricut is that I'm going to create new image or new project, and then once I do that, I'll be presented by this page right here. So what I'm gonna do is what I do is I put in the title first. So I'm gonna put sample Cricut template. Alright, so there you go, I have it now. I put it 10 by 10 or 5 by 5 would be fine. The size of the Cricut machine, usually a square 12 by 12 is the size of a scrapbook design. So a 10 by 10 would be fine for me because I could always maximize it by resizing the image if I want to. So the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to choose the resolution. 150 is fine, even 75 pixels would be fine too. And then the color mode doesn't really matter, and then the background will be fine, white would be okay. And then what I would do is that I would then create the file. So once I have to create the file, I would have to just my next technique is that I would just uncheck this one, which is the lock icon here in Photoshop. I'm just gonna uncheck them, and then I'm gonna just uncheck the eye icon. So I'm left with the transparency behind the original background, which is the white. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna, let's say, put in the wordings that I wanted to. Black is fine, or any kind of color. Red is okay, but I usually just do it in black. And then I'm gonna put, let's say, 2020. So there you go, you got 2020 there as your letters that you're gonna be transporting or importing to Cricut app. So I'm just gonna enlarge it, and so there you go, it's enlarged to 2020. So the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just check this part right there, and this is transparency file. That means if I'm going to print this out in my Cricut machine, it's gonna come out like it's just gonna cut this portion right here, which is the 2020 letters, I mean numbers. So if I put the background here, and if I save this as a PNG files or JPEG files, this white background will be noted as a shape. So once you do that, that means the Cricut machine will basically cut that portion, and you wouldn't cut the numbers that you're trying to cut. So so leave it as a transparency and transfer it to your Cricut machine. So the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to save this file. I'm going to do file and then save as or export. So this one, what I would do is I'm going to export this as a PNG file. So PNG files is it's a graphic file that would read out a background, and it's not compressed, or it's not a compressed file as a JPEG, in which it will basically make the file as one. So PNG file is basically, it will read the background right here, as well as your graphic that you have saved. So this one, I'm just going to put sample Cricut template .png. So once I do that, I'm going to save it. So I already had a name file that I had saved with the same file name. I'm just going to have to replace them. So once I replace that, it's going to give you this options right here: medium size, a small size, or larger file. So medium files is okay. I'm just going to click OK on that one. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our Cricut app. So once you do that, you're going to just click this one and then launch the Cricut app design space. So once you're here, you're already logged in. I'm just going to click on new project. And then once I have this project file right here, what I can do is I can zoom it in, or I could zoom it in or zoom it out. So depending on the cutting board that you have, I think they offer like a cutting board all the way to, I don't know, like 34-inch or something like that, like panoramic size. But for me, I do have the 12 by 12, so I have to restrict myself in that file size, or that size of the board, because I can't go beyond that size. Otherwise, the letters won't be cut the way the way the original size allowed me. So it's going to be a 12 by 12 in final. So this, you can see it's marked in inches. So you get 12 inches here, meaning this is your limit, and this is your limit right here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to upload the file. So once I upload the file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here, upload your images for free, basic and vector. Images can be .jpeg, .gif, PNG, BMP, SVG, or DXF. So for me, I choose PNG, as I saved it on Photoshop. I'm going to upload the image, and I'm going to browse for that image, or I could just drag and drop the file here. So since I have a second screen, what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to drag and drop the file. So once I have that, you can see here that this file right here is a transparent file. So they gave me as to select image type, depending on the detail of your files or detail of your project, or vector shape. What I usually do is I just do click moderately complex, meaning simple shapes, because this is simple shapes, not like a complex detail shape. So moderately complex shape option would be fine for me. And then I'm gonna click this one, and I'm gonna click OK. So once I'm here, meaning this is the files that I have, you can still moderately edit the file by selecting this one, selecting erase. You can actually do that. If let's say you have a white background here, you could also do that. You could erase, select and erase that file, or do it this way. So they have an advanced options here too, but I usually just do it this way. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click next or continue. So once I have that, this is the options that you're going to be choosing. So whether save as a print then cut image, or you want to save as a cut image, meaning once you press this one and you put the papers in the cutting board, the Cricut will basically cut this portion right here and leave that portion for you, and then the rest of the paper, it will be just a waste. So that's how it is. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to save as a cut image. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do print then cut. So what they do is that they would have an option for the Cricut will basically print this image first, and then it will cut for you. So but this one, I'll just do a save as a cut image. So once I do that, then image name, you can also type that in. Tag would be something like you want it, like you can add like an information like numbers, year 2020, or anything like that. Anything that like a keyword tag that would be easier for you to look for these numbers later on when you want to look for files that you wanted a quick reference or a quick way to find that file. So you put this tag so that in case you want to go back to that project, then you can just type 2020, then this file will pop out, and then you can modify it more. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save. So I saved it there, and I'm going to go to here. So it's right there, it's uploaded already. I'm going to click that one. I'll click that one, and I'm going to go right here. So I'm going to click insert. So once I insert it, there you go. So there's the file right there. So I could make smaller, could make bigger, like what I told you guys. You could once you're in Cricut Space, you can basically manipulate the image or manipulate the graphics that you're trying to put in. You have a rotation tool here. You could rotate the numbers, or you could just go back to the way it was by clicking this part right here, which is undo. So if we keep on clicking on undo, then it will let you basically go back to the original section that you've modified. Original, like you're gonna go back to the time that it was originally set up. So there you go. So I have this one. So what I do usually for me to save the papers is that I would make different sizes. So for this one, I'm gonna make, let's say, one size so that I can maximize the paper that I'm using. So because once you print it, then sometimes it's hard for you to kind of cut that portion and place them again in the cutting board. So it's better to just plan your graphics, plan on what kind of graphics or design that you want to do, and then make use of that space that's the remaining space that you have. So then what I'm going to do with this one, I'm just going to duplicate that, duplicate, and then I can do that. Another thing I can do is that I can insert another templates here or a design that I did. So I can just click on upload. Then I'm going to go back to the files that I have here, previously files that I have here. I'm going to put, let's say, 15. So once I insert the 15, then it will show the number 15 here, and it's being shown here. So like I said, you have to be careful of the spacing, that you're not going over 12 by 12, because then if you go over, this number right here will be cut to the next cutting board, or to the next paper that you're going to be setting up. So it won't recognize that it's going to be cut within a 12 by 12 one page. So you're going to be needing two papers in order to cut separate templates. So for example, so this one is good, let's say, and then I'm going to do is I'm going to make it. So I'm going to click the portion right here. I'm going to click make it. And so once I'm here, then as you can see, you can still rearrange the file, or you could either hide the selected files because you don't want that to be printed, or you can cancel and then go back to it again. So you could make a little bit more bigger on this one, and then let's say you're gonna make it again, so it will rearrange to you like the app decide for you on how you would arrange this in order for you to print it precisely, and then maximizing the space within the Cricut mat, cutting mat. So this red line right here, just be aware that this red line, you can't go beyond that, because if you do, then there's no way for you to go beyond that section, because it won't let you. Okay, so then the material size, you could go 12 by 12. Like I said, there's a 12 by 24 that you can choose, meaning you could go all the way down here. If you have multiple design, you could put them all the way here, and it will cut each and every portions that you have design wise, and then you know, you just have to provide a paper that's size 12 inches by 12 by 24. So but this one I have only a 12 by 12. So then once I'm set up with this one, if I'm doing this and cutting this for a shirt, let's say if this is a vinyl, what I'm gonna do, have to remember is that I'm gonna have to click mirror, because mirror basically will flip the image, and once you cut it, and then once you place that on the t-shirt, that means it's gonna read like the way it should be read. It's not gonna be flipped on the other side, but it's gonna be flip in a sense that you're facing the image. So let's say this 51 right now, or 15, supposedly will be an actual 15 once you print that out. All right, so there you go, I'm done, and I'm just gonna do is I'm gonna click continue, and I'm gonna print the file. Okay, so this will end my tutorials. It's a very basic tutorials. Hopefully it helps you integrating the Cricut machine and your Photoshop, and learning how to make an integration between both, and taking advantage of those sizes files that you can do, and you can manipulate using your Photoshop.